get everything set up here. Be right back. Dum-de-dum-dum-dum. 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 Here we go. How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Good afternoon, good evening. My name is Leo Naranjo IV, candidate for governor in the 2026 election. I hope those sound effects came into effect, and you could hear them. They're kind of humorous. Ozzy Osbourne, Crazy Train, and of course the theme song from Succession, boldly and proudly playing on my little video tonight. Hey everybody, Leo Naranjo here, candidate for governor 2026. And yeah, candidate for governor in the 2026 election. How about that? You can't get any better than that. Thank you, please, no applause, okay, I got it. Hey, thank you. Got a lot of supporters out there. Thank you. Okay, thank you. I got you. Let's slow it down, folks, slow it down. How y'all doing? It's a great evening, isn't it? I'm back in California. Family's back in California. Family business is taken care of. Been watching what's going on around here lately. Been seeing what's happening. Let me tell you, here's what's new in the political scene. Nothing. Same old nonsense. What's happening over there in the Democrat side of the house is they're trying to figure out who they want to stick into the Gavin Newsom place for the legacy in their hierarchy. They don't know. That's right. They've got no idea. Those people are still trying to figure it out on who is going to be the heir apprentice to the legacy of losers that Gavin Newsom has established. He's not here to do anything positive. I could care less about Gavin Newsom. And what do we all feel about him? That's right. No F-bombs, please. Gavin Newsom is a loser. He is gone. History, adios, goodbye, good night, good luck, goodbye, good riddance, sir. Should I win the governorship race, the only thing I need to do from you is get the keys to the office, and then you can get the hell out of my face, and the face of many Californians on top of it. But let's bring it back around. Let's bring it back around a little bit. I'm in a good mood today, and I'll tell you why. One, I've had my Dr. Pepper. That's a plug. Shameless that it is. They don't sponsor me. I just drink the hell out of it. Used to drink in my Army days so much that my soldiers thought it would be funny if I owned stock into that company. And at one time I did. I went and purchased some Dr. Pepper stock just so I could say, yes, I own stock in Dr. Pepper and I'm drinking my stock every day. Sold it off many years ago for those of you chomping at the bit to see that 700 form. I know who you are. You know who you are. You're worried about my finances, but you're not worried about Mr. Bianco's or Hilton's finances. That's funny. So, a little squeak in my chair here. Sorry about that. So, what brings me here tonight in such a good mood? I'm trying to contact delegates to get votes to speak to the delegate convention being held in San Diego on the 10th through the 12th of April. The GOP convention. We're going to endorse a candidate. And first thing we need to do is we need to be able to speak to the candidates to see who we're going to endorse. But alas, those rules have changed. You have to make a threshold in order to speak at a candidate delegation and endorsement convention. Talk about lining up one side of the field for who you want to pick on fair and open election process. Yeah, the fair and open election process. That, well, yes, I get it. That is not happening here in California. It's anything but a fair and open election process. I'm well aware, and some folks out there as the delegates, they got the same mentality. They would like to see something a little bit fairer. They would like every candidate that's there that plugs their name in to have an opportunity to speak. I'm right there with you. Why not? Hey, you know what? As a member of the military, former member of the military, retired, this is my stand. It's been my stand, and it was instilled to me in the service. I might not like what you have to say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it. And let me repeat that for some of you hardheads out there. You know who you are. I'm not going to take liberty and nail a delegate to the cross with this one, but you, sir, know exactly who you are and who I'm speaking to. I may not like what you have to say, but I'll defend to the death your right to say it. Can you extend to me that same courtesy? And I'll give you the answer up front, folks. This SOB did not. And yes, I did use the word SOB. He didn't want to hear anything I have to say. He doesn't care to see me talk. He doesn't want to see me talk. He doesn't want to hear me say a word to delegates. Why? What are you so afraid of? Oh, you put the nonsense in there about splitting the votes. We got to go with Bianco, and I'm a Bianco supporter, and I'm all this and I'm all that. What are you afraid of to hear somebody speak? I may not like what you have to say, but I'll defend to the death your right to say it, but you can't do the same for me. Are you a conservative, much less a Republican? How the hell did you become a delegate? Because that's what a socialist does. That's what a communist does. I want you to hear my side, but I don't want to hear yours. A few other choice names that I could pull out of the backsides for that one, but we'll let it go where it is for right now. And that gentleman, if they're out there watching YouTube or X or anything else, knows exactly who I'm talking about. So there's that. Now we got to have a set amount of votes out of 1,500 candidates to be able to take the stage to say something. And if you don't, only one person's going to speak. Of the candidates that we have listed on the GOP website, and there's 7 of us, only one person gets to speak. That's the bottom line. That's the endorsement. You just cast a ballot in and boom, we're going to change the rules for that person to speak, and he or she is the only one? Wow. Yeah, we don't have a voter ID problem in California. We got an election process problem in California, starting with our own party. What kind of railroaded BS is this, where you're afraid to let other candidates have an opportunity to speak, to talk to the delegates? Hey, you know what? If I change somebody's mind, great. If I don't change somebody's mind, great. Nobody's twisting your arm. It does nothing to hear the other side say something. But when you're so fearful that your whole agenda is going to be disrupted because somebody might be better than your guy that has an opportunity to stand up and say something, you've got issues. You're part of our problem. You're the reason why we're the party of irrelevancy now in the state of California. But while I'm along this path, once again, you're looking at the numbers. It looks like Chad Bianco is going to get that magic bullet, like he hasn't been sautéed for it. Here's something I want you folks to realize and understand. And you put him down on the GOP website as Sheriff Chad Bianco. Sheriff Chad Bianco. What the hell is going on with that crap? Mr. Bianco, you're either a sheriff or a candidate. Which one is it, sir? Because I think that the people of Riverside County are paying you to be a sheriff in your county, to take care of problems in your county. I didn't realize that we now have counties funding taxpayer dollars to have you sporting up and down this state trying to run for the governorship. Hell, if you want to do that, quit your damn job. But you won't, will you? Because you know, just as well as I do, you've got 2 years left on your contract at a minimum, from what I figured out and mathed out, 10% pay raises per year of the 2 years left. So that means you're going to pop another 20% of pay and move your little happy slappy from $623,000 a year to nearly $750,000 a year for salary and benefits. $750,000 is what you're going to cost this state for you to finally figure out you no longer want to be a sheriff. Lot of money coming out of that county. from $2.5 million to $1.2 billion budget expense? Wow. While you're cavorting up and down this state pretending to be a governor candidate, here's a question for you, sir. Who's watching the store? Who's the sheriff of your county? You sure as hell aren't. Not if you're floating around in Shasta, in Eureka, in Del Norte, and anywhere else you're up and down here campaigning. Who's minding the store while you're gone? Your department? Your deputies? You've got the worst record in California solving crimes than anything else. It's probably because you're never around. You've got the highest death rate in your prison system. Wonder why? You're getting sued because you let somebody die after 2 days of refusing to provide them medical care. That one really tops me. The fact that the Republican Party is even putting your funky self on the ballot to be considered for a governor position, that you let somebody die in your jail by refusing them assistance. I hope you have that well documented, that your deputies did everything they possibly could. Because right now it's looking like they didn't. And you compounded the problem because you're also a coroner. Whoa, that's a conflict of interest? No, not at all. Why would that be a conflict of interest, Leo? He's the sheriff. He can do that. As the coroner of Riverside County, you listed on the death certificate that man died from a drug overdose? The family's claiming that he died from lack of insulin shots because he was diabetic. And I'm pretty sure in some of the nonsense that you've been saying in your county meetings with your county council, that's what you told people the last one I saw. These people are killing themselves in jail. It's not your problem. They're bringing in the drugs. It's not your problem. They're killing themselves. It's not your problem. But my question is, sir, when does it become your problem? You're the jailer. You have that many drugs coming into your jail system. Who in the hell is not doing their job besides you? Failure as a sheriff. Failing to be a sheriff. Failing to manage your assets. You can't control your staff. That's 2 failures. Lack of management skills, lack of management abilities. Maybe you know about the dirt going on and you turn a blind eye to it. That's why it's okay. Potentially. Allegedly. But there is no allegedly on that gentleman that died in your jail after 2 days of being refused medical aid. Hell, if it's that easy to die in a jail that you control, maybe we need to redirect a lot of our death row inmates down to your holding facilities and let them languish in there until for some weird reason they expire way before their time. A lot of questionable deaths coming out of your jail department, sir. But hey, you're the sheriff. You can do what you want to, right? That's what you've said. That's what you claim. It may be because you're so crappy down there doing your job. That's why you let your deputies run around bucket naked on OnlyFans. Secondary job. It's not your problem. Hey, wives can do what they want. Husbands can do what they want. There's no shame in what you're doing. Probably isn't any shame, but it's an embarrassment to the county and to the department. You stop somebody in a traffic stop or a stop or any type of law enforcement involvement, I could see how that plays out. Hey, Bob, I saw you on OnlyFans. Don't worry about this meth lab. I'll give you a few hours and a few $100 to look at you pork your wife, and we'll have a good old time if you let me go. No possibility of corruption at all there. After all, he's the greatest deputy you have in law enforcement. Knows how to solve crimes. He's a great detective. Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Bianco. Your management skills suck. Your ability to control or lead anything stink. You're an abject failure at what you do. And after being there for 30 years, that's a shock unto itself. You were there for 30 years and nobody's called you to the carpet? You better hope to God I never get involved or I get elected as governor. Because the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to ream your department out and figure out what the hell you've been doing in it and start to answer some of these questions about corruption. This isn't about whether or not your jail force, your law enforcement force is corrupt or not. It's for that thing that we've been yowling about for so long nowadays, fraud, waste, and abuse. How far does your hand reach in that equation of fraud, waste, and abuse? We've already seen the abuse. There seems to be a lot of fraud. Now we just have to investigate it to find out if it's true. And for all the things that I've been seeing and hearing coming out of Riverside County, there seems to be a little bit of the potentiality of truth. But hey, there's no law that says you can't run around the state of California pretending to be a candidate while you're still a sheriff. No law at all about that. Is it illegal? No. Is it unlawful? Doesn't appear to be. Is it morally questionable? Yes. Is it ethnically questionable? Yes. Because in your own words from a previous interview, what did you say? You could care less if you win, lose, or draw. If anything goes wrong, you'll just go back to being a sheriff. No skin in the game for you. While you're being protected to get the endorsement of the California Republican Party, which is a sure way that we're going to get our asses handed to us in the general election. That's a prediction of fact. And why do I say that as vehemently as I just did and as confidently as I just did? Well, sir, when you have a 15-year military veteran calling you out to have a one-on-one debate, you versus me versus you, calling you out for a debate, you put up your 30 years of experience, I'll put up my 36 years of experience. We'll put up your knowledge pool versus my knowledge pool. And let's make it sweeter so that people understand where I'm coming from. I have one demand for this to happen. My family will be present at that event. As for you, here's what I'm getting ready to offer you in your demand side of the house. I don't care what it is, I'll agree to it. Time, date, place, topics, moderators, crowd, no crowd, venues, doesn't matter to me. It's okay by me. I'm agreeing to your terms. And I don't even know what they are yet. And yet, your cowardly self can't bring yourself to say, let's put this to the test and then put it to rest. If you're that good, you should be able to smoke me in less than 20 minutes. I'll say 30, because that's how long it took Mr. Thurman to roast your behind when he got a hold of you on a one-on-one. You can't take me. How the hell you figure you're going to take anybody on the Democrat side? And after watching you in a debate process and a few government forum processes, I'm here to tell you, you, sir, are in trouble. I don't care that the party wants to back you. I don't care that the party wants to pretend you're the greatest thing since sliced bread. You, sir, are in trouble. You can't hold your own to a debate. You can't hold your temper to a debate. You'll kneel to a mob, buffalo a young lady on your staff, from what I was told. You'll want to stand up and go toe-to-toe with Katie Porter. You want amnesty, and then suddenly you don't want amnesty, and now we're not sure what you want to have amnesty on or about, but if governor, you're going to work within the frameworks of the law that you're trying to undercut so that you can give amnesty. And you'll kneel to the gay community, the LGBT community, because you gave up an liaison position in your department for LGBTQ plus as a liaison position. What, really? How racist is that? What part of the Constitution did you just violate creating that position? I don't see a liaison for African Americans. I don't see a liaison for Ukrainians. I don't see a liaison for Pakistanis. I don't see a liaison for the Hispanic community or the Asian community or the Indian community. Man, I can keep going on and on and on of all the little different cultural things that make up America. There's no liaison for them. Is that a white person thing that you're trying to do? A little racist card right there playing in secret? Showing your hand again? Because that's what it looks like to me. Pandering. I said in the beginning of February I was going to go after you to have a one-on-one debate, and I was going to be cordial about it, and I've stopped being cordial a long time ago, sir. You are just an outright coward. With that, I'm going to move on to my next topic because you ain't worth my time. We'll still pop the offer out there. We'll still show people the weakness of what kind of a candidate you are. But other than that, you're not all that in a bag of chitlins. The problem is we're getting ready to find out just how true that statement is. Now let's move on to the next individual we're trying to propagate here in the state of California. But before I move on to that person, let me ask you folks this. July the 4th is going to be what? Our 250th anniversary as a country. The United States of America, born out of the ashes of a revolution against our former overlords. So let me ask you folks this, in case you forgot your history, because I know there's a lot of you out there that are in your 30s and 40s and you probably didn't get the education that you needed. Who did we have to beat in order to secure this country? And you want to try and elect that man to the governorship of California. Celebrate 4th of July doing what? Celebrate it with a governor of that caliber? Yeah, okay. Many of you are probably looking at me through a lens and you're saying, oh, Leo, we don't know who you are. You're not rich enough. You're not good enough. You're not popular enough. You're not prolific enough. You're not on Fox News. You're not this. You're not that. We've already got a preconceived notion of who you are. Let me blow that up for you, folks. I don't look like much. I may not sound like much for you. But there's a lot of people that made that mistake before in the past. And they found out otherwise. But Leo, you're not getting talked to by the PAC, so you're not getting any big donor money. You're right. Why would a PAC want to stick a contract underneath my nose to give me $100,000 so that I can kowtow to anything and everything they want, which stands completely opposite of what I'm running for? Why am I running for governorship? I'm running for the governor of the state of California, first and foremost for the citizens of this state. I'm not running for the citizens of other nations. They've got their own governments to contend with. Let them deal with them. Let them help them out. Let them bail them out. Let those countries give them medical attention, medical aid, medical insurance, and everything else we keep seeming to be coming out of pocket for that Mr. Bianco is all well enough good to do. As long as you don't break any major laws, you're okay to swarm our state. Pen broke, sorry. First and foremost, for the citizens of this state. Sounds almost like a juvenile statement from a grown man, doesn't it? So simple. It's too easy. 1 + 1 = 2. It's too easy. What's the catch, Leo? What's behind you? There's got to be something there, because that can't be it, right? You look at my platform, you look at what I've run on. For those of you that remember, I'm that guy you used to hear on the radio that started off on KFBK with this name attached to him. Leo, the embattled state worker. That was me. And then when I came out of service from the Franchise Tax Board after being there for 4 years, I picked up a new radio handle when I was on the caller of Mark Williams' talk show. Leo of Sacramento. So if you remember that name from the KFBK days, that was me. And when they got ignorant in KFBK and they sacked Mark Williams, the only conservative voice in California at that time, Who helped lead that protest in Roseville against the wine festival that they hosted? That was me. Along with Miss Deborah Johns, along with people from Move America Forward. Oh, nobody knows who you are. No PAC's going to give you any money. Of course, no PAC's going to give me any major money like that because they want a contract that says I have to KMA, kiss their backside, do what they want to do as they want to do it. And I can't say anything against them because then I would be in contract violation and I would be sued to oblivion. Held liable personally for damages. Unrealized, whatever the case might be. But like I said before, folks, there's a lot of rights in California. The problem is we seem to only deal with one side of the rights. We have rights too as citizens. And one of those rights that I would exercise for any PAC, which is why we're not having conversations because they don't want to discuss this with me, you donate to my campaign, you're going to sign a contract with me as well. I'm free to do whatever I want to with the funds that you provide to my campaign because that's all that there are is funds for my campaign. But there are no limits to my free speech, freedom of expression, or freedom of direction. If you foul up, you're going to be called out. And there's no harm, no foul because my contract will supersede yours in all forms. Simple. I've held millions of dollars in my hand in the United States Army as a finance soldier, as a finance non-commissioned officer. Money does not impress me. The fact that you have a ton of it doesn't impress me. It's not in my bank account. It's not moving anything in my world. That's your cash. Have at it. Responsible with funds. I was responsible for many millions of dollars in the United States Army as a finance non-commissioned officer. Checks. You've seen them, government checks. Nice big fat ones. Got the little serial number in the top. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, they got a type of a check in the government that doesn't have a serial number, but is just as good as the one that you would see Social Security issue out. All you need is a stamp and a date. And I had access to those for many years. Not impressed. If I got sticky fingered, all I needed to do was whip one out, fudge a date. I would have been scot-free. Guess what? No one would have been able to track that check because it had no serial numbers. Not me. Not what I do. Well, people have a conception about you. You're too combative. What do you think politics is? Combativeness. You need to sit down with your counterparts all the time and kumbaya. Maybe it's because they own you. If you can't be a little combative and stand up for yourself. Well, you're not famous like the guy on Fox News. Fox News does a lot of Steve Hilton shots. Yeah, Fox News ought to be thankful the Fairness Act isn't being challenged against them, but it's getting ready to be. Giving all that free airtime to one candidate on political topics and you're identifying him as that candidate, it's getting ready to be. Been schooled up to that point. A lot of you out there right now are looking at me through a lens and deciding and making a determination. I don't want to say I'm being judged by you because only Christ can judge me. So I'm going to say you're measuring me. You're putting a measurement on me of what you expect as a candidate, what you'll tolerate, what you won't tolerate. I get all that. But you're putting me in the limelight to fit your paradigm and your view of what you want to see happened. Well, you've never been in government, Leo. Well, neither is Steve Hilton, but you're kissing his backside, so what's the difference? Well, you're not rich and famous. Neither are you. And what makes you think that you're famous to them? Newsflash, you're not. Because you're sitting here screwing with me. Well, how much money can you raise? What difference does it make? You're never going to see a dime of it. You're not going to get any of it. You're not helping me acquire it. How much money can I raise? Let me tell you, if the woman that self-funded $140 million couldn't buy the governorship, what is your number to think that you can win with? Right now, I'm hearing 30, 40, $50 million. Well, I'm here to tell you, 140 is the standard. Carly Fiorina set that. Let's try another path, another tactic on how you think you're going to embarrass me or force me out of this race. Well, Leo, you don't understand. Nobody knows you. There are a lot of you that profess to be Christians. Oh, don't go there, Leo. Don't go there. Oh. Why not? It's factual. You either are or you aren't. That's why the party is pro-life, right? Pro-life party. But we're yielding that plank now to pro-choice, and we're adopting the pro-choice party. You letting somebody come into the party that's pro-choice, you must be adapting to their mentality if you're putting them up on the board as the candidate that you want elected. So now we're becoming the party of pro-choice. You're selling out that stance? Okay. AB 1333 that I got schooled and prepped on a little bit. Wow, you're propping up a candidate that would like to see weapons removed from individuals to be able to defend themselves, their homes, and their families. Now we're anti-Second Amendment. We're pro-gun control. Are we now that party? But it seems like it because we're moving in that way, promoting this other guy. You folks out there have your viewpoints on how you see me. You've made up your minds. You've measured me to a standard that you yourself can't even match, make, or exceed. So here's what I want to ask you, especially my fellow Christians out there that profess to be fellow Christians. Who would you pick in the field of battle as your guy? Goliath or David? And before you answer it up, let me tell you where I think most of you have already gone. You will hands down vote for Goliath, because it sure as hell ain't going to get David to be the person that you would pick to win, using the same standard that you're using on me. Now to the point of my question and my comments. Steve Hilton. Haven't forgot about you. Oh my God, Steve Hilton. Woo, he's everywhere on the X platform. All over the place. Steve Hilton, we're going to be talking about Steve Hilton a little bit tonight, ladies and gentlemen, because guess what? We've got a plan. I've got a plan for California. I've been working on this plan for eons. I've been working on a plan you don't know about, because that's the plan I got for you. We've seen Mr. Hilton in some forums lately for the last year. Kind of slick what he does, doesn't it? That's the showmanship that you got for being a Fox News host. BS talker. Just like going to Las Vegas, watching a magic show. Woo, sparkles, glitters, all kinds of neat stuff. Nothing's really there. Same thing with Steve Hilton. Nothing's really there. How would you handle AB 1333? Would you sign it if you were governor? Oh, of course I would. Yes, sure would. But that means you're going to strip the rights of citizens to protect themselves. Well, that's what happens. That's an answer that you gave somebody, sir? Woo, did you piss those people off? No, I didn't say we wanted to have reparations in the United States of America, much less California. No, I didn't say that. That's not what the news is about you. You're all for reparations. Taking property, asset reparations, balancing the scales between the haves and the have-nots when it comes to the monetary department. I didn't want to go down this path, but we will because you brought up the topic. Disincentivized cultures, African-American financial inequity with the Caucasian culture. You won't see a balancing of the finances between the two groups. Yes, you do. You want reparations. It doesn't necessarily need to be monetary reparations as long as it's reparations, and we can do it by assets, property. Yes, we can balance out the property. Well, whose property are you going to take to balance that out? Palisades? Well, there's something for you. But my name's Steve Hilton. I've got a plan. But you never really describe what your plan is. When you go and read the nonsense that this gentleman has actually made on the Golden Showers ticket that he has running around here, pretending he's back in the UK, that's how he got this ticket idea and this concept. You vote for him, you got 4 other people automatically get their assignments, get their appointments, get their jobs. No, Steve, it doesn't work like that in America. I think somebody told you that too. Somebody once told you, as much as you'd like to see things move in America a tad bit faster because you know how to overcome them in England, we in America have certain things that prevent rogue individuals in government from just getting slick Rick and passing crap against the citizenry. And you had that lost look in your eye like, oh yeah, those problems. Oh God. I want to be able to do this, but I can't because I got to go through the American justice system, the American legal system, the American voter system. Oh my God, I got to go through too much stuff. Somebody told you that and warned you about that. And I know because I was there. Why are you talking like that, Leo? Because I'm part British, but I got British ethnicity. I was not born in England like you were, sir. England didn't welcome you with open arms to be an immigrant. You were born in the damn nation, sir. Stop pretending. Your folks fled Hungary. They migrated to England. During the Hungarian Revolution, that's when the Russians cracked down and took over that little country. That's what they fled. But you're all for reparations, you're all for gun control, you're all for limiting the ability of people to protect themselves in their own homes. You, sir, would have those individuals step back to let the criminal do what they wanted to do. I think people remember the BTK killer used to be running around here in Sacramento, California. He only came in to rob until he subdued his victims by tying them up, and then the next thing you know, he's stringing them up and torturing them to death. Is that what you're advocating for, sir? Because that's a concept that we here in California, even the most liberal Democrat in California, is not subscribing to. You're raising Cain about a 60-year-old getting released from prison early because Gavin Newsom and his laws and everything else. What would you do? Oh, I'd stop it right away. If I was governor, it wouldn't happen. But it's going to happen. Because Gavin's already got the thing in the works to sign for. He's not looking at this situation to see if it's going to help, harm, or hurt California. He's looking at this situation to see how it's going to harm, hurt, or help him for a presidential election run. If it gets pulled back, believe me, it ain't because he's in love with California. It's because he wants to make sure he's seen as the law and order guy for a presidential run. Let's be clear on that nonsense. But you've got a plan. Whenever Steve Hilton is asked questions, he always seems to be really slick Rickish and defers to his left or his right. Oh, I got a plan to help homelessness. Well, how are you going to do that, sir? Oh, I got a plan to help homelessness. There's Miss Romero there. She's going to be my lieutenant governor. She's going to be in charge of helping homelessness. Ask her. How are you going to deal with drugs throughout the homeless community and all the nonsense going on with that? Oh, I've got a plan. You got to read my 12-page booklet and my plan, and I'm going to deal with that. But if you have any questions about that, ask him. Mr. Gates, he's going to be my AG. He can handle that for you. How, sir, are you going to handle illegal immigration? Oh, that's not my problem. That's the federal government problem. But we're going to follow the laws. Okay, what does that mean? We're going to follow the laws. The laws right now say we're a freaking sanctuary state and we don't honor ICE detainers. And if you still forgot, ladies and gentlemen, 33,000 people are languishing in jails and prisons in California from folks who are here illegally, as well as the supporters who are still on the outside of the prison system. Why have they not been rounded up and removed from the state? This is over 2.5 weeks now. Are the ICE detainers that difficult? Is it that problematic? Do we not know that they're illegals? Because the Department of Homeland Security sure as hell knew they were. That's how we got a number of 33,000. What's your plan, Mr. Hilton, on dealing with them? Oh, we've got a plan. We're going to follow the law. Let Mr. Gates answer that for you. Fraud, waste, and abuse. How are you going to deal with that? Oh, we got a plan. I got Amy Reichert. She's a podcaster on the X platform. Yes, she's going to be my CEO of how to detect fraud, waste, and abuse. If you got any questions about fraud, waste, and abuse, ask her. It's the Department of Doge, California. I'm going to create a Department of Doge, California, so we can root out the fraud. Well, how are you going to do that, sir? Oh, we're going to ask her. She's going to give you the answers and all the information you need. Woo, this guy kills me. Sir, what are you going to do about child trafficking in California? Oh, got a plan about that one too. Always got a plan. That's the thing about those Brits. We've got plans. You just don't know about them yet because you haven't asked. But it's a good thing you asked because I got a plan. That's that lady right here, Kylie Campbell. She's going to be the head of the anti-sex trafficking in California. Let me tell you what somebody asked online with a little bit of my own flavor of colorized versions of explanation for that question and that person. Who in the hell is Kylie Campbell? Where did she come from? What is she known for? Who's backing her? Who's supporting her? Who's encouraging her? Who's propping her up? There's a podcaster that I just reposted his YouTube version of exactly those questions. And he was even more in depth than what I'm asking. He wanted to know how the hell she was sitting down with Mike Pence having an interview from virtually a no-name podcaster. And that gentleman, God bless him, I wish I knew his name, but you can see it when you look up in the link that I created on X, showing you that very question, who is Kylie Campbell? He asked those questions too. He asked a lot of other questions, but he made some insinuations, it seems, about where she's getting her funding and support from, because it's places he can't even figure it out. But she got an interview with Mike Pence? As a nobody? That's some powerful stuff. And now this woman is going to be in charge of something called the anti-trafficking. Anti-trafficking what? The whole point of this, ladies and gentlemen, is to show you the incompetency and the stupidity that a rich man thinks poor middle-class people and below don't have the brains to figure out. You, sir, are not even in government, much less in the governor's chair or the office, no matter how hard you're dreaming to be there. You are not the governor. Hell, you can't even pretend to be the governor. And if you were pretending to be the governor, I still outclass you in that endeavor. But you're not even the governor. You've promised everybody to slash their tax bill in California. Yes, I'm going to cut your taxes down $100,000 because I got a plan to help you survive California in the high cost here because the Democrats and the 16-year party rule, one-party rule, we've got to end it now, and we're going to end it now because I've got a plan. In the space of less than 2 months, you've created nearly 3 freaking departments in California state government. At least 2. Third one is still out. But you've created 2 brand new departments. The Department of Fraud, Waste, and Abuse, the Doge Department. And now you got something about an anti-trafficking department. You're creating more government expansion with no idea how to pay for it, but you're going to cut everybody's taxes, and you have no idea how to cut the spending within the state. That's what you're doing. You're a train wreck waiting to happen. This woman is going to head up anti-trafficking on child sex trafficking and blah, 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 blah. What are the cops for? What are the investigating teams for? What are all the undercovers for? Are they not supposed to be doing that? Gang suppression units and everything else these sheriff department, police department groups have? But you want to make a separate organization to track child trafficking specifically. Fraud, waste, and abuse. Every department has a mechanism to detect and report fraud, waste, and abuse. GAO does that. Comptroller does that. The treasurer does that. The legislature does that. The frickin' lieutenant governor, if they're interested in doing that, can possibly do that. Investigators can do that. People can drop grand jury investigations can do that. But you want to make a brand new department so that you can have somebody look into it specifically. That's what you want to do. That's your plan. And the more people notice your plan, especially me, the more I notice you, sir, are responsible for nothing as governor. If you were to ever be elected, God help us if you were. And I'm saying this because it looks like we're in the middle of a Monty Python playbook when it comes to you. You have zero experience in government. Oh, you were a policy writer in England. You wrote policies in England, but you were never really in government. You sure as hell weren't in U.S. government. You didn't make decisions. You drew papers. Got a fine gentleman running around here right now, Mr. Athens, governor candidate that put out a paper on you at the CRA endorsement convention. You're what they call a social engineer. How to destroy societies from the inside type guy. Socialism is written all over you. Your wife's big tech, but you're flaunting around here about, oh, big tech's putting up Eric Swalwell, big tech's putting up Matt Mahan, big tech this, big tech that. You cavort with the very people that you're cursing. Big tech, who you think's in big tech? Your wife is a big tech, all over the place in big tech, hand in hand. You're friends with Gavin's wife, which kind of leads me to believe that you're kind of sort of friends with Gavin Newsom, as much as you say you're not. If there are 50 billionaires on this planet, I guarantee you, let me take that back. I assure you, 50 people know each other or know they know something about each other because there's only 50 of them. Bring it down from there. You're not fooling anybody with the nonsense you spew because we're starting to see through the nonsense, the holes, the doublespeak, the trying to protect what you think you want to do to this state, much less this country. You want to restrict people's ability to protect themselves. I, sir, want to ensure not only do they get to protect themselves, but they don't get sued in the process of doing it. It's called rights. Everybody keeps worrying about the criminal rights. What about the homeowners' rights and the citizen rights? Those are what I'm fighting for. You want to strip us down to be happy with $3 a gallon gas as if you did something impressive for the state of California and then freeze the number there while the rest of the nation is enjoying $2.40 or less? That's what I'm fighting for. I don't know what the hell you're fighting for. Do you have a plan about big oil and how you're going to try and bring them back to reopen up these refineries that they've closed down? No, we're going to call them back to go green people. We're going to do away with these green mandates. Well, that's awful funny because in England, you helped create the green mandates and the nonsense they're going through in that nation. How are you going to deal with the illegal problem? Oh, I've got a plan. We're going to follow the law. Yeah, you're right. We're going to follow the law because the first thing we're going to do under my administration is remove sanctuary state status. We're going to welcome ICE with open arms, and we're going to get the people that are in our jails illegally the hell out of our jails and sent back and remanded to the countries that they're from. I don't need to say I've got a plan to tell you exactly what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do it, but you've got a plan. Well, let me tell you, I said before, I feel like I'm in a Monty Python playbook era with you. And so are the people of California when they see you, because this is what you're doing for the folks of California who are probably not up to speed with your tricks and your BS. You're creating departments and putting individuals in charge of these groups, departments, associations, committees, whatever you want to call them, in this fashion. Let me explain. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have here Mr. Steve Hilton. And Mr. Steve Hilton, we want to ask you a question. No. People, don't be rude. Don't be rude. We have to give the gentleman a chance. Thank you. I want all of you to be quiet now. Quiet, please, quiet. We're getting ready to say something profound because I have a plan. I have a plan to help California. Its problems, its crime, its cost of living, and to end the 16 years rule, because I'm running against Gavin Newsom. I'm telling you, I'm going to beat Gavin Newsom. We're going to beat him. We're going to make sure that he can never be governor again. And here's my plan. Some of you have questions about my plan, and I want you to know, as my name is Steve Hilton, I want you to know this. I appreciate your questions. I'm thankful for your questions. As a matter of fact, you have so many questions for me, I'm going to make a brand new department called the Department of Questions, and you can speak to that gentleman right over there, because he's sponsored by me, and I'm sponsoring him, and I've known him forever, at least 20 minutes ago. And he's going to be the chief of the Department of Questions in the Department of Questions for California. That's my plan. Now, if you want answers, I imagine some of you want answers to questions, the hardball questions, correct? Whoa, thank you, yes. I'm a Fox News host, and I've got answers for you. And I want you to know that I've got answers for the 16-year problem that the Democrats have created. And under Gavin Newsom, we're going to roll this state over to red. How are we going to do that? You want an answer? Well, you can see this young lady over here. I've known her for at least, if not half a life, at least for the last hour. If I got her on my team, she's going to be in charge, the CEO of the Department of Answers. And any answers you have, she will provide them for you, because I'm Steve Hilton and I've got a plan. And essentially, this is how we're going to run California. This is my plan. We're going to make a 15-minute city. I got a commission for that. And we're going to incorporate some of the Go Green technology without telling you that we're doing it, because I don't want you to be upset at me. And if you are upset, I've got a department of people who are upset at the Department of Upsettedness. And they'll handle all the upset people for the department. So if you got a question, go over here and ask the Department of Questions. In order to get answers, then you'd have to go over here and speak to the Department of Answers. And if you're not sure where to go, I've got a department for that too, which will tell you where to go because you're not sure. And all of it will be under the DOGE, fraud, waste, and abuse concept, because we have a department that's going to check on the Department of Checking, and that way we can run our Department of Checking and check on our departments. That's my plan. Thank you. That, sir, is your concept of governance for the people of California. Everywhere you go, you have a plan with no directs or specifics. And you have a department that's going to help you carry out your plan, because you can't answer the direct question on what to do or how to do it. And eventually, if people are slick enough and catch you doing it because they're starting to wise up, you are basically expanding government to twice its size in California with your BS plans. You're going to cost us more money in bureaucracy, get nothing accomplished, but it keeps you from having to answer to anything. Because it will always be a department head's problem. And you're creating departments as fast as you can conjure them up in your little mind on what you think California is all about. And right now, you think we're about socialism. And we're not. Right now, you think you're going to take us down the path of socialism, kicking and screaming because you say so, and we're not. So while you're running around with your golden shower, pretending it's a golden ticket, it's a ticket to a golden shower is what it is to me, and people are starting to see what you do and how you do it, Those of us that are cunning enough to understand what you're all about are seeing right through the facade. You're the wizard behind the curtain. You're the Oz that everybody is warning folks about. And at some point in time, sir, it's going to be brought up. I'm going to want to challenge you for a debate as well. But we're not going to give you as much latitude as I'm giving up to Chad Bianco. We're going to make this across the board so that people know exactly what we're dealing with and how we're going to go about having a one-on-one discussion, you and I. That little fiasco you did with the Democrats, that was to let them know how amenable you are for what they want to do. Did you play hardball with Matt Mahan? I looked at that as if you were throwing him softballs to knock out of the ballpark. Problem with Mahan was he wasn't polished enough to pick up the hints that you gave him. Oh, but I'm sure he's being schooled. I'm sure he's being taught. You got a lot of people that you cavorted with early on in this process who seem to have been attack dogs that are now your lap dogs and helping you every step of the way. They're doing everything possible to shield you from the public. Yeah, you make appearances here or there. But it's already been shown you can't shotgun answers in 1-minute discussions. You can't hold your own unless you've already got the prearranged questions so that you can provide the pre-rehearsed responses. Now, I've been on 1 or 2 stages with you, so I kind of get the drift. So as we're barreling towards April, barreling towards getting ourselves ready for a convention where more people than not are going to end up by whatever the party dictates for them to do and doing it that way, I just want people to realize and remember 250 years ago on the month of July, the 4th of July, we beat a country to establish this nation, and we've never looked back since. And yet, the party is not only making us look back, they're trying to force feed us to accept their version of the party in California. And I'm calling on Republicans in this state to not let that happen, to challenge that at every turn, to look at the candidate and vet them out and ask them, why do you want to be the governor of the state of California? Why are you running? Is the question that should be asked. Stop being told how to vote. Vote what's in your mind, your heart, and your knowledge of what is right and wrong. And you know as a person what's right or wrong, the difference between right and wrong. And that's all I'm asking, is that fair shake? Is this a hardball concept? Sure is. Is this a hardball video? It sure is. And I'm pretty sure somebody out there is hot and seriously pissed off right now. But guess what? I'm not worried about you either. What I'm doling out right now is going to pale in comparison to what the Democrats are going to unleash, whoever that candidate is. And if you have weak players up to the plate, that's what you're going to get. Crushed. I've stood 36 years against many foes, and I'm still here running a campaign trying to be the governor of California on the principles that I set forth on my campaign website. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your time, your considerations, your thoughts, your prayers, and everything else. And remember this: I may not like what you have to say, but I'll defend to the death your right to say it. A few of you out there can't even give that up to me, much less anybody else. That's fear. God bless you all. Take care. Enjoy the evening, and we'll talk to you all later down the course of the day. Bye-bye.